Hello, my loves. Welcome into this video for the new moon in Scorpio solar eclipse. I'm so excited to get started here on this journey. First things first, if you are new, hi, welcome in. It's nice to see you. It's nice to have you here. I do have a tutorial video, how to get the most out of these readings with my tips and tricks and how to engage with this material and your spiritual support team as we receive this guidance. You can watch that video if you feel called, if it feels supportive. It's not necessary, but it is there for you if it feels good to you. For those who are not new, hello, y'all. How are you? It's good to have you back here. Thank you so much for being here. As you hopefully already know, it is a pleasure to be offering this service to you, this guidance, this self-understanding through astrology, this connecting with our spiritual support team, our inner knowing through the spiritual sacred tools of the cards. And it's an honor and a joy, and I am so lit up by this Scorpio solar eclipse, and I'm excited to jump in and talk about it. So first, let's talk about new moon energy. New moons always represent for us new beginnings. New cycles are starting. The cycle that's starting is always under the theme of the sign that it's in, and it relates to the house that this energy is happening for us. We'll get more in depth with that house energies in just a moment. So the energy that this new moon is happening in is in the sign of Scorpio. So Scorpio is a fixed sign, which means that it is an unchanging energy. It's also a water sign, which represents the emotional realm. So essentially, the Scorpion energy is fixed water, unchanging emotions. That's this energy of the Scorpion archetype. Now, the Scorpion is the totem of the Scorpio energy, and it represents this deep dive into deep knowledge, into deep knowing, that relentless search for truth, diving deep into the core of who we are, why we're here, and really understanding that on a deep, deep level. The Scorpion energy also has this energy of flying high, like an eagle or like a phoenix, because it has this transformative nature. The Scorpio season happens during All Hallows Eve, which is when the veil is the thinnest between our world and the other side, and it represents this death and rebirth energy. So if you didn't watch the readings for the solar season in Scorpio, where we dive into where Scorpio is occurring in your own chart and you learn more about how to embody that energy and we get guidance from our support team, I recommend you check out that video after these videos if that feels good and right to you. Now, let's talk about eclipse energy. So the normal lunar phase, lunar cycle is 28 days. From one new moon to another, or one full moon to the next. Eclipse energies last us for 6 months. So this is a new beginning that we're going to see unfold and experience unfolding over the course of 6 months. This eclipse is referencing the lunar eclipse when the moon was full in Scorpio 6 months earlier on May 16th. So this energy here is a culmination of 6 months prior. I did a reading for that eclipse, and I will be reviewing the information that came through from that reading at the end of the videos. So this cycle is going to go from October 25th, which is when this eclipse happens, at 6:49 in the morning, that's Eastern time. And this energy, like I said, is going to be potent for 6 months. So it's going to last until May 5th, 23, which is going to be another lunar eclipse in Scorpio. More time to focus on this energy and utilize these powerful eclipse portals to move us forward in our personal goals and in our collective goals. Now, before we dive deep into this energy, into this information that's coming through here, I want to take a moment to talk about a cycle that's much, much larger that I haven't really talked about before this moment. So we are in a cycle called the Great Year. And some of you may have heard of this through the age of Aquarius. We're moving out of the age of Pisces and we're moving into the age of Aquarius. The Great Year actually goes backwards in the zodiac. So the energy of Aquarius is humanitarian focused. So overarching all of the work that we're doing right now is this energy of supporting humanity, supporting the collective, becoming a united, collaborative species. That's the overall theme of all of this energy and all of this work that we are doing on individual levels. It's permeating out into the collective. So this Scorpio new moon solar eclipse wanted me to connect with you and show you the power of prayer. So it doesn't matter what your spiritual beliefs are. You could call this an affirmation. You could call this an intention. You could call this a prayer, a meditation. The word that you use to describe what we're going to do here in just a moment is up to you to determine. And you can work with your spiritual support team in ways that feel good and right for you. But what I was receiving was that this powerful solar eclipse is a moment for us to make a wish, to start something new. And I'm inviting all of us watching these videos to take a moment and to set aside our personal goals, our personal life, whatever's going on an individual basis, and set a prayer, set an intention for humanity with this solar eclipse. My prayer, my intention is that our entire human family wake up to the truth of our collaborative, loving, and selfless natures. This is actually something that I've been learning about scientifically. It is proven, and there is an explanation for why we as a species have been so angry, alienated, competitive, and egocentric, despite our natural desires to be cooperative, to be loving, and to act in service of the whole. So this is my intention and my prayer. I'm going to read what's called the Ho'oponopono prayer. And I invite you to say this prayer with me and hold this intention for our human collective. Again, holding the intention that we all wake up to the truth within us, to our own natures of being collaborative, cooperative, and loving towards our human family as a whole. Here's the prayer. Father, mother, child, as one, if I, my family, relatives, and ancestors have offended you, your family, your relatives, and ancestors, in thoughts, words, deeds, and actions, from the beginning of creation to the present, we ask your forgiveness. Let's cleanse, purify, release, cut all the negative memories, blocks, energies, and vibrations. Let's transmute these unwanted energies into pure light. And it is said, it is done, and set free. Thank you all for joining me in this collective intention and prayer. I don't normally do this in my videos, but I was really guided to do this. Another reason I think I'm guided to do this is because, as I mentioned, the Scorpio energy is the thinning of the veil. This is the time for us to connect to our ancestors, the ones who did all of this work to get us where we are so that we could wake up to the beautiful freedom and truth of what it is to be a human living in cooperation with other humans on this earth. This is what the age of Aquarius promises us. And each phase that we go through is helping us to move closer and closer to this reality, bringing it into form. So back to the readings. How do you know which reading is for you? Well, you are going to have two readings. You're going to first watch the interpretation for where the moon was when you were born. So if you don't know your birth chart information, this is the time for you to watch my tutorial video on how to find your birth chart information on astro.com. You go to that site, enter in your birth data. If you don't know your birth time, please don't stop there. I have a tutorial video linked in that video that'll tell you how to find your birth time so that you can access this all-powerful information of the vibration that was in play the moment you took your first breath in this life. So you're going to watch the interpretation for where the moon was when you were born, and you're also going to check in to see what house this current eclipse is happening for you. So how do you find that out? I'll explain that in the video, so if you don't know, watch that video too. But you're going to look for where Scorpio, symbolized by the M with the little pointy tail, occurs at 2 degrees exactly in 2 degrees, okay? And whatever house that's in, you're going to also watch the video for the house reading. Now, of course, you can skip through the introduction once you've watched it once, and you can skip through where it says house interpretation. Watch the card reading and then scroll ahead. Okay, I do timestamps on these videos to help you guys scroll through the information that you don't need or that is repeat, and help you to get the most out of this information and not waste any of your time. Okay? If after watching the tutorial video you have questions on how to find this information and what video is right for you, please feel free to reach out. So if you feel called to support me for this information, for this guidance, for the way that it supports you, you can do that in so many ways. You can like, you can comment, you can engage with this material, which helps get me out to more people. You can share this with anyone you think would find it interesting and valuable. And of course, you can support me in my services. I have a weekly chakra meditation service on WhatsApp. It's only $14.40 a month. You can go to devotedandvulnerable.com/services to sign up for that. I also offer chart readings on that website at that same address, so you can go there. And if you just feel called to offer me a financial contribution out of the goodness of your heart and it feels aligned to you, you can do that at paypal.me/devotedvulnerable. Link is in the description. So we are going to be getting guidance from the Angel Therapy deck by Doreen Virtue. And we are ready to dive into what our spiritual support team wants us to know about the new beginnings we are starting in the next 6 months. So this reading is for you if the moon was in Taurus when you were born, and or if this 2 degrees Scorpio solar eclipse is happening in your 2nd house. If you haven't already, taken a few deep breaths, called in your spiritual support team, and opened your heart to receiving the guidance that's most aligned for you, I invite you to do that at this time. Remember, you can always pause the video if you need more time. And let's see what advice is going to guide you for the next 6 months through your new beginnings. Alrighty. We got shield yourself. Protect yourself from harsh or fear-based energies by envisioning a cocoon of healing light surrounding you. Wow. I'm going to get into what this means for the moon alignment in just a moment. If you're here for the house interpretation, just scroll ahead to that. So before we get into the card analysis, we're going to go over what the moon in Taurus energy is all about. So if you already know that energy and information, you can scroll ahead to the card interpretation. So the moon was in Taurus when you were born. The moon in our astrological story represents our emotions. The sign that it's in represents how our emotions express. So your emotions express themselves through the archetype of the Taurus, which is the energy of the bull. Taurus is a fixed energy, a fixed sign, which means it's unchanging, and it's in the element of earth, which means that this is the physical realm that we're talking about. Now you see a little halo over the Taurus icon here, and that represents the exalted state that Taurus is in when it's in the moon, when the moon is in Taurus. So this exalted energy basically means you can do no wrong. Your emotions like to be in this zodiac sign. It's very comfortable for your emotions to be in this sign. It's a very natural alignment for you to be in. Meaning there's lots of natural gifts that come here, and you don't have to work very hard to overcome any friction or dis-ease that may come from some of the other alignments that are possible. Now, another thing to note is that while the sun is in Scorpio, Taurus is the opposite of Scorpio in the zodiac. So that is why our full moon that we're going to be having next month is going to be in Taurus, and that is also going to be an eclipse, referencing the eclipse that happened on, I believe it was April 30th of this year. So you're going to feel very lit up, pinged, activated during this time. This might hit you in a deeper way because there's this energy of Scorpio over here and Taurus over here, and they're kind of doing this. They have this complementary yet opposite energies. So since the sun is in the sign opposite of your moon, you may feel activated by that. And like I said, the full moon eclipse is going to be in this energy. In general, you may find that your emotions are earthy, determined, loyal, and domestic and dependable. So let's relate all of this to the Shield Yourself guidance. I feel like this is very, very powerful for you, my beautiful moon in Tauruses, because you have this bull energy. You have this feet on the ground in the material world. Your heart is grounded onto this planet in the physical, earthly realm. And as you start to have this new energy for the next 6 months, your guidance is to shield yourself from energies that may take you from being grounded. So this is really what I'm feeling. Anytime you don't feel grounded, it's time to shield yourself. It's time to connect with the earth. Earth is the element that is going to help you emotionally throughout this 6-month phase, this eclipse cycle. Eclipse season, we'll call it. So, although usually eclipse season refers to the time that the eclipses are in play. So let's call it the eclipse cycle. So we're really talking about here, as you move forward over the next 6 months, having an awareness of what is grounded and yours within your emotional sphere, and knowing, sensing, feeling when something external starts to come in and try to move you, right? Like, let's use the analogy of the guy with the red flag, right? And the bull's charging at it. Shield yourself from the red flags, from being pulled out of your grounded state and being like that charging energy. That doesn't mean that you're not allowed to charge at things that you feel called to go after. But this is like the image that I'm receiving, is this guy holding the red flag and trying to move you out of your grounded energy, trying to manipulate you. Like, here's a red flag, come over here, come over here. When you really just want to be stable where you are. And this is on an emotional level because this is your emotional alignment. Where in your life this is going to be relevant for you is going to come through for you based on which house Scorpio 2 degrees is going to occur for you. So I do recommend you go watch that video as well, because that's going to give you more clarity on where in your life this shielding needs to occur. It needs to occur on an emotional level for sure. Anytime you feel that you are pulled out of your emotions, that you are ungrounded emotionally, it is time to shield yourself. So how do you do that? I'll give you a couple of ways. The simplest way in a moment where you don't feel like you can take a break is to take the bottom of your tongue and stick it on the roof of your mouth and hold it there. Okay? You can do this with your mouth closed, so no one will even know that you're doing it. You can do it while you're smiling. But if you feel pulled out of your grounded emotions, it's time to shield yourself. Another way that you can shield yourself is to take time to close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and visualize like an actual shield. The tongue and the roof of my mouth, actually what happens is I feel like a shield going up out of the top of my head and down out of my back and like connecting this whole bubble around me. So that's also what you could visualize. You can just visualize that there is this bubble around you. You can call on your support team to say, hey, please put a protective bubble around me. You can go to the earth. So you can sit with a houseplant. You can go outside and put your bare feet in the earth if it's warm enough for that to happen. You can do a salt bath and help to get those minerals in and around you. That actually feels really supportive for you, my beautiful moon in Tauruses, because the minerals are mixing with the water, and waters represent the emotions and minerals represent the earth. So it does feel like this is very aligned for you. Take a bath when you feel that you might need to be shielded or protected. Okay. This is anytime as you're doing something new for the next 6 months that you feel pulled out of your grounded emotions. Just protect yourself, okay? And go see which house this is occurring for you so that you can really get more information about where in your life this protection is most important and get a little bit more guidance from the Angel Therapy deck and your support team there. As always, namaste. The universal light within me salutes and honors that universal light within you. Namaste. All right, let's talk about the second house energies, and then we'll apply it to our card and advice. So the second house represents the house of value. It's ruled by Venus and Taurus. It represents possessions, the exchange of materials. It represents morality, your value system. It represents your finances, and it represents your self-worth. So this is the area of your life that you need protection. You need to shield yourself. So you need to shield yourself when it comes to matters of self-worth, when it comes to matters of what you value. There's this, your guides are telling you to not let outside energies interfere with what you know to be true about your worth and your value system. Especially if this is something new for you, especially if you are new to developing this sense of inner worth. When something is new, like when it's just a sprout coming out of the ground, it needs to be protected from the elements. Once it's grown into a strong tree, it doesn't need this protection as much, but the newness of life requires us to shield and protect and guard this beautiful new birth and energy. Also, guarding your finances. This doesn't mean that you're going to be attacked, but it does mean that there may be outside influences coming in to manipulate the things that you value, your possessions, your finances, and to keep that manipulation out, you're going to shield yourself. You're going to protect yourself. Now, there's many ways that you can do that. You can put your tongue in the roof of your mouth. That will, in the moment, create an energy shield around you. You can also sit in meditation and visualize your protection sphere. Like you might actually visualize your whole house surrounded in a bubble. You might see your bank account surrounded in a bubble of light. Call in your spiritual support team, whoever they are, your higher self, God, goddess, angels, guardians, ancestors, fairies, to help you protect. Definitely with this eclipse energy, I would take time on the day of the eclipse or around the eclipse to set these protections and to remember for the entire 6 months that this energy is active, that you do have this protection. You can call upon it when needed, when you feel that this area of your life is in need of protection, and just reactivate this energetic shield. Okay? Wow. Let's do a review now. So this is the information that came through for the second house during the lunar eclipse in Scorpio in May. And the 2 cards that came through, the angel therapy card was books. So it was telling you that you are meant to write and you are meant to read books of spiritual literature. And the 2 of Earth card came through, which is all about budgeting. It's all about managing your finances. So now that you've budgeted and managed your finance and hopefully read a few spiritual books and or written a spiritual book, it is now time for you to protect the newness of your book or the newness of your finances with this shielded energy. Okay? You can go back and watch that reading if you want more information and details about this energy. Back then I had said that this energy was going to last for a year because it was going to repeat again in May 2023. And we're really getting new information that's coming through here at the 6-month mark. So this reading is kind of separate from that, but there's still this overarching theme of books and budgeting for you that'll take you through to May of next year. All right, my beautiful second housers, as always, namaste. The universal light within me salutes and honors that universal light within you. Namaste.